Hi there, I'm Nick, a former Amazon bar raiser, and in this video, I'll show you how to prepare a standout cover letter and resume when you apply for a job with Amazon. I'll cover 3 parts in this video. 1, how to prepare an outstanding cover letter. 2, how to prepare an outstanding resume. And 3, most importantly, the cover letter and the resume are table stakes. And I'm going to answer the question, do you really need to spend as much time as maybe you would on the cover letter and resume, and are other things more important than that? First things first, let's start with 1, how to prepare a standout cover letter. You need 3 things to knock it out of the park with your cover letter. 1, your resume. 2, a job description that you're applying for with Amazon or another company. And 3, an AI chatbot like ChatGPT or Gemini or what have you. I'll show you how to do all of this right now. Here's a fake resume I've put together, the resume of Jane Doe, who is a solutions architect, and she's worked for a number of companies, and she's got an education from the University of Washington. In addition, this is the Amazon's jobs website, and because Jane is a solution architect, we're gonna look for a solutions architect job. And then boom, there's a senior solutions architect. That's the very first hit. It's in Sunnyvale, California, which is just as good, and in Seattle as well. And here's a JD that Jane is gonna apply for with her resume. So now let me show you what steps Jane should take to prepare a outstanding cover letter. In the first place, just set up the table for ChatGPT. Hey, I would like to prepare a professional cover letter for an open job with Amazon that I am applying for. May I share with you the job description and my resume and ask you to prepare the cover letter while emphasizing 2 points. 2 points. 1, describe my excitement for this specific role and opportunity. And 2, explain how my prior experience makes me a great match for the requirements in this job. Okay, so then we hit enter, and the ChatGPT says yes, absolutely. And then we say great. Here is the URL with the job description. And then we share the URL. Okay. ChatGPT says thank you. Thanks. Here is my resume. Okay. Then I go to the resume. Oh, I need this. Enter. And here's ChatGPT preparing the letter for us, the cover letter for us. So this is a really good stab, and then obviously you can continue to tweak your cover letter as ChatGPT has presented it to you. There's 2 requirements that I mentioned, and I want to emphasize again for you when you write a quality cover letter. 1 is describe your passion and your commitment to the company. That's a thread that is going to cut through a lot of your other Amazon answers during the interview. You're going to describe your passion and excitement about Amazon when you answer the why Amazon question. You're going to describe your passion about Amazon when you talk about yourself. But also in the cover letter, it's an excellent place to underscore that. So 1, describe your passion and your commitment and excitement for the company. 2, underscore why your prior experience functionally is going to help you succeed and knock the ball out of the park with the current JD. Okay, now let's go to part 2, which is how do you prepare an outstanding resume when you apply for a job with Amazon? Let me go back to my fake resume with Jane Doe that I've prepared for this exercise. And I will walk you through 3 things or 4 things that I like about this resume and 3 things or 4 things that I dislike about this resume. So let's start with what I like about this resume. The first thing I like about this resume is that it has the right sections in it. Let me show you what I mean. It has the summary section, which is fantastic. It has professional experience. Then later on it has education. And at the bottom it has certifications. So those are good sections to have. Kudos. The second thing I like about this resume, and possibly the biggest upside of this resume, is that this person, Jane, has quantified the accomplishments in each of her roles so far, in each of her job positions. So you can see how in the Green Company, which is a made-up company name, obviously, Jane has generated $68 million in annual recurring revenue. And in the Purple Company, she has generated $27 million in annual recurring revenue. And that's it. I mean, I would have listed my quantifiable output in every single role on my resume. And maybe I would have listed maybe 2 pieces of quantifiable outputs per role at least. But she's doing a good job here. $68 million of ARR, $27 million of ARR, 2 of the biggest roles, 2 of the most recent roles. That works really, really well. And the third part that I like about this resume is that the sections are in the right order. You start with a summary or your aspirational piece of your resume, then your professional experience, then your education. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen these reversed. Either the summary section is missing altogether, or somebody starts with the education in front of the experience section, or they litter the top part of the resume with keywords and certifications and so on and so forth. So the order here is important. It shows you that you value your aspiration and vision the most professionally, then you value your professional experience, and then you value education. That's the right order. These are the things that work well with this resume. Now let's talk about the things that I would improve about this resume. There's 3 or 4 of them at a high level. The first one is that this resume fits on a single page of paper. See, right here, page 1 of 1. That is a drawback. When I see a resume of just 1 page long, that tells me that this person is junior. And I would, particularly for somebody who is interviewing for a position where, let's see, they require 8 years of experience here for this role. Particularly for somebody who's interviewing for a senior level role, I would easily have 2 pages in my resume, maybe 3 even in some cases. And I'll tell you later on how these companies, they would completely strip the word formatting from your resume and they turn it into a line of string. So the pagination really doesn't matter. But even if somebody's looking at this resume and eyeballing it, seeing a single page tells me that this person is junior or they don't take themselves as seriously as they should. The second thing I would fix is that the summary is not targeted enough. It's not customized enough for the company I'm interviewing for, in this case for Amazon. In this summary, Jane says, I'm a lifelong security problem solver. I'm obsessed with cloud technology and the power of AI, so on and so forth. So nowhere does she mention AWS or Amazon. Let's see what role again was she interviewing for. She's interviewing for the Amazon devices team, actually. So nowhere does she mention Amazon devices, such as the tablet or Echo or Fire TV, so on and so forth. Nowhere does she mention Amazon. Make sure that your summary is very targeted to each company you're interviewing for. You don't have to make the summary different on a role by role basis. So maybe if you're interviewing for multiple jobs at Amazon, remove the mention for Amazon devices and make it a bit more generic with Amazon in mind. But make sure that you customize your summary section and make sure that you quantify things in your summary section as well. That's another knock on the summary section of this resume. The second thing that I don't like about this resume is that the descriptions are too fluffy. As I mentioned earlier, it's good that this person has quantified their accomplishments, but there's just so much fluff here. Thought leader and advocate for alliances, product marketing, product development, winning primary DevSecOps vendor of choice for 2022. So that there's just a lot of empty garbage words, and I shouldn't say garbage. There's just a lot of empty calorie words, and I would tighten these up. I'd make them behavioral. I'd make sure that you describe quickly, maybe over 1 or 2 bullets, what you did for that specific job with more examples and behaviors while keeping the quantification aspect of things. The third thing I would fix is there's no personal interest section at the end of the resume. And that's a little controversial. Some people want to shy away from it, but the way I look at personal interests is as a section that has absolutely no downside to it. So you might say that, I don't know, you're a 3-time climber of Mount Everest, or you're a rower at University of Washington, or what have you. And there's a low probability that the interviewers who talk to you would share similar personal interests with you. And if they don't share similar personal interests, there's no skin off your nose, right? But if they do, even though that's a low probability, if you hit it on the nose, then your chances of getting hired exponentially increase, because this person, the interviewer, is going to feel certain kinship and certain rapport with you based on your shared backgrounds and personal experiences. So by you sharing your personal experiences, you add maybe 2 or 3 lines to your resume in a 2 to 3 page resume. And those lines have an outsized upside potential, even though small, and 0 downside potential. So why wouldn't you want to do that? Okay, so those are the top level problems that I see with this resume that I would fix. And if you follow these tips of do's and don'ts, when you craft your resume, you will prepare a standout resume that's going to catch the eyes of a lot of people who talk to you at Amazon. Now, the third section of this video is let's discuss why the cover letter and the resume are table stakes and why you should not invest too much of your time in crafting these. Maybe I would invest no more than a couple hours in putting together your cover letter and your resume. You can see how with ChatGPT, you can whip up a cover letter in about 5 minutes, then maybe spend another hour on your resume and be done with it. Let me explain why. As the saying goes, if you play stupid games, you're gonna win stupid prizes. You want to be different. You want to stand apart from the rest of the applicants. And you want to focus on the things that are going to dramatically improve your likelihood of getting hired by Amazon. And focusing time on the cover letter and the resume are not those things. Let me show you here. I have brought my windshield wiper from my car that's parked outside. And this windshield wiper is quite dirty. You know, I don't know if you can see the smudge on my finger. Maybe it's a little scruffed up. Maybe I need to replace it. Absolutely, I should replace my windshield wipers. And that's something I should keep in mind. But if my car is on fire right now outside, if the engine is burning aflame, I don't worry about my windshield wipers. I worry about my engine. I worry about the car being on fire and exploding. That's much more important. You should prioritize in a similar way how you prepare and how you focus time and attention and effort in your Amazon application. The cover letter and the resume are not the places where you should spend your time. The cover letter and the resume are table stakes. They are no different than things like your immigration status or your educational background or number of years of experience. These are things that companies like Amazon worry about because they're mandated to worry about them by the government and so on and so forth. And you need to worry about them too, but spend no more than a couple hours in your application process on these things. I'll tell you why. The way the Amazon process works when they review your resume, ingest your resume and your cover letter is the following. And by the way, that's the same process with a lot of other high-tech companies. Amazon would take the resume that you send them and cover letter. But here we're talking about resumes first and foremost. They would take your resume that you send them and they would OCR it, they would scan it, and they'd turn it into a single line of string and they would upload it into their candidate recruiting databases. And there's literally millions of these lines of resumes, similar to the Matrix, these million lines of people's lives that are posted in there. And Amazon is going to index these resumes for keywords. In this case, solutions architect, what have you, AI, so on and so forth, SaaS. And they would, the next time a recruiter or a hiring manager is looking for quality candidates, they're going to light up these resumes by keyword and they're going to return a set that matches those keywords. So best case scenario, you're going to be one of many. You're not going to stand apart. So all this garbage about ATS, applicant tracking system friendly resumes, is largely in vain, because unless you're interviewing for something very unique where your resume alone is going to help you stand out, best case scenario, your resume will be a table stake. An example possibly where your resume could help you stand apart is if you're applying for a pilot job with Prime Air, where Amazon is hiring pilots to fly their planes. Amazon is not hiring that many pilots to begin with. And if you just put the word pilot in your resume, that could give you the advantage over the majority of other candidates. But for the regular people like you and I who are applying for jobs in development and product management and marketing and what have you, literally tens of thousands of other people are applying for these roles, and there's millions of prior resumes in the system about these positions. You're not going to stand apart. So what you should do instead of hiding behind your cover letter and resume and endlessly regurgitating those and sending them into the ether blindly, what you should do is you should work on your referrals. You should prepare a table stakes resume and cover letter like I showed you, but then find somebody who would refer you for those open roles at Amazon. Scan through your LinkedIn connections and seek out the first and second degree people who work for Amazon and ask them to refer you for that role. Some people would hold back on asking for referrals because they don't feel comfortable, or they would say, oh, I've not worked too extensively with this person. Why would they want to refer me? And here's why. Because they're going to get paid. If you get hired successfully by Amazon and stay employed for 6 months, these referrers who send your resume to the hiring team, they will get paid thousands of dollars in lots of cases. So there's no downside whatsoever for them to refer you. And the other benefit is that Amazon and other tech companies, they have different tiering of the referral systems that they maintain. So if you can vouch for someone directly because you've worked with them, you can say, hey, a direct referral, or whatever the latest terminology is. If you know them from a conference or you've just rubbed shoulders with them on LinkedIn, you can just say, hey, this is an industry lead. And Amazon actually encourages people internally to refer you because they know that referrals are the best, most trustworthy and proven way of hiring quality talent. So they want to remove all the friction around that. Not only do they want to remove the friction, such as, oh, I don't know this person, or we have not worked well enough together, they want to incentivize the people by paying them money for referring you successfully. So the ticket is not to obsess over your resume and cover letter. The ticket is to prepare something solid and passable, like I already showed you, and then focus on networking and finding those first and second degree connections in LinkedIn, asking them to refer you, sending them the note. Once they agree to refer you, send them an email with your cover letter as the body of the email and with your resume attached, and say in the email something like, hey, dear John, please refer me to this open role. I'd be thrilled if you can do so. I look forward to finding out what the outcome is. Something along those lines. Now, the final maybe pushback that you might have is, how do I find first and second degree connections on my LinkedIn who have worked for Amazon if I don't have any already? So the challenging piece about this is that you cannot do so overnight. The benefit is that once you make those connections, they stay with you for life. And wherever those people go in the rest of their career, they're going to be willing to refer you. So start out by reaching out to maybe third degree connections. Start attending Amazon conferences like reInvent. Get certified in Amazon's technologies, a general practitioner certification in AWS. There's not enough certified AWS people in the world. If you do get certified, then you will immediately stand out. So then let's imagine you get certified, you attend a reInvent conference, and you hand your resume off to the people on the show floor. You you exchange LinkedIn connections with them, or you find a third degree connection and you pay for a LinkedIn premium subscription and you ping this person by offering to do something of value to them. You say something like, hey, I was recently certified in AWS and I saw that you're on the AWS team. I would love to connect because I think I can help you with these things. And here's a recent article that I read about AWS that you might not have seen, or here's this project that I've put together that might be of assistance to you, so on and so forth. Provide them with value. Do not ask for a referral right away if you don't know them, obviously. Provide them with value, help them shine in their job or in the task that they're supposed to be working on right now. And then in time, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 weeks, a month later, ping them up and say, hey, this was so wonderful to help you. Now, my dream is to join Amazon as a solutions architect. Would you be okay with referring me for the role? I'll be so thrilled if you could do that. Here's the JD. What do you think? So you need to build your connections from the ground up. Get to those first and second degree Amazon connections on LinkedIn, and that's what's going to get you in the door. Because once you ask the referrer to refer you, they're going to email the hiring manager from their internal Amazon email, and that's going to get your candidacy on the very top of the inbox of that hiring manager. When you send the email to the referrer that I described earlier with, dear referrer, please refer me for this role. Here's my resume. When the email is your cover letter, please send it to the hiring manager. Then that referrer forwards on the resume to the hiring manager. It gets on the very top of the inbox of that person, and they would instantly want to talk to you because you're referred by another Amazon colleague of theirs. So by doing so, you bypass the entire process of applying blindly and competing against these millions of other lines in the matrix and playing stupid games and wanting to win smart prizes, which you can't. Now, am I saying that you cannot get chosen via this silly process of applying blindly online with just a resume and a cover letter? No, I'm not saying that. You could get chosen, but your likelihood of that happening is very low, and I'm here to help you stand out and improve your chances of getting hired by Amazon. All right, I hope this was helpful. If it is, What you should do next is watch this video right here, where I'm going to give you a step-by-step blueprint of how to land your dream Amazon job in a 7-day challenge. Watch this video here next, and I'll see you there soon. Bye.